What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a banger of a video. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Drop a like if you do. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and also follow my Twitch, linked in the description. We're going to be streaming some Dying Light 2 there later today, so pull up and come chill with me. Make sure you follow that. And also, before we dive into the video real quick, let's take a moment for our sponsor. This video is brought to you guys by MyBookie. Your team might have missed the big game this year, but MyBookie's double deposit bonus makes sure you won't. With tons of exciting props to choose from, there are hundreds of options to make this your most exciting Super Bowl yet. Just head over to MyBookie today and use code GOBLIN at sign up to have your first deposit matched instantly, so you can get in on all the action of Super Bowl 56. The only way watching the biggest game of the year could get any better is to get paid doing it, and MyBookie gives you everything you need to do just that. Head over to MyBookie and sign up using code GOBLIN, and best of luck to you and enjoy the Super Bowl. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Big shout out to them. Now let's dive into it. So, this is quite an interesting story, and this might end up being multiple parts because this was about a week of events, a little less than that, but for those of you guys who follow me on Twitter or other social media, you might know that I've been in LA for the past few days. I was not in LA the entire time I was gone. I was originally in Miami and then somehow ended up in LA. We're going to talk about that, because quite a lot of shit happened this weekend, and I felt this deserved a video. So, without further ado, let's dive right into it. Now, this started off last Friday, where my original flight down to Miami was booked. Now, I had a couple things I was doing in Miami. First off, I was meeting a buddy of mine who I was working on a glass line with. You guys know the Goblin glass coming soon. But I was going to meet him down there, go out to dinner, go over some stuff, kind of get the ball rolling. And also, I was just kind of going down there to hang out, going down there to chill a little bit with my girlfriend. So that's really all I had planned for the weekend. And I got to the airport on Friday, and mind you, I'm flying out of St. Louis, right? St. Louis recently got shit on by a giant snowstorm. Pretty much half the country got shit on by this snowstorm. But the day prior to my flight, 90%, no, not 90, it was like 80% of the flights out got canceled. So I got to the airport bright and early, right? I got there, I was supposed to take off originally at like 4 or 5:30 p.m. I got to the airport at like 1 p.m. I was ready to rumble. I always get anxious when I fly, so my game plan was to just get drunk as fuck and then take my flight and get out. I didn't really factor in the idea of the flight getting canceled, so I was like, I'm just going to get wasted, sleep it off on the flight, wake up, and be pretty sober and in Miami. Done deal. As you could probably imagine, that's not at all how it worked out. Now, I got to the airport, and I got through security, no problem, and I headed straight to the bar at my terminal. Now, I don't know whether to be happy or depressed about this, but the bartender recognized me, and not because he knew my YouTube channel. He recognized me because I got to the bar, and he said to me, "Oh, welcome back. Are you going to drink half the bottle of Jaeger again?" Now, I don't know what the fuck I said to this guy last time because I have no recollection of this man. So I don't know whether to be honored or concerned that the airport bartender remembers me. Like, is that a flex or is that like a sign of alcoholism? I don't really know yet. But I immediately get to drinking. I order myself a good old vodka cranberry because I'm kind of done with the Jaeger days. I don't know, I'm a little over it. And whenever I'm at the airport, for some reason, that's just the most reliable drink. You can't really fuck it up. Airports seem to have very bad bartenders, but you just can't fuck up a vodka cranberry. My grandmother could make a vodka cranberry. She's dead. But either way, I'm drinking up, sipping these vodka cranberries, having the time of my life, and my flight at this point still hadn't been delayed. That didn't last very long because maybe 30 minutes after getting to the bar, 2-hour delay. Bam. No big deal, whatever, it's just 2 hours. That just gives me more time to sit there, drink, and play RuneScape on my laptop. Once again, I'm not concerned. No, I'm sitting there, I'm chilling out, and I don't want to get too drunk too quickly because I had a feeling that this wasn't going to be the last delay. So I didn't get too wasted yet. I left the bar after maybe like 3 drinks or so, and I went over to those little charging stations they have, and I'm charging up all my stuff, my computer, I had my Switch with me, playing the new Pokemon, all that shit. and I'm getting ready to rumble. I'm sitting there and I get smacked with another delay. This one's bigger than the last one. It is 4 more hours, so we're now sitting on a 6-hour delay. Now, it's whatever, we're not supposed to leave the airport till like 9 or 10 p.m., but I've been there since 1, so by the time we even got on the airplane, it was already 8 hours deep. So I'm sitting there with another like 4 or 5 hours to blow, and I'm like, well, I didn't bring any weed with me. I have no cart, not even. I have no THC to consume. It's time to get fucking wasted. So I go to the bar and I'm chilling there, and I come back, and the bartender, same guy who recognized me before, which I think I'm proud of that, but like I don't know. I'm conflicted on how I feel about that. But either way, I go back to the bar, and the bartender, he's of course happy to see me again. I tip him well. He's a nice guy, and I sit back down and I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, I just got delayed another 4 hours, So we're chatting a little bit, we're chatting it up. He's bringing me some more drinks, and I sit at the bar for probably another hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. I'm drinking pretty slow at this point, and I'm just sitting at the bar playing on my Switch, like I'm just chilling. I got time to blow. I'm not trying to get too wasted yet, because I looked at the flight board as I was walking back to the bar, and everything was getting canceled. So deep down in me, I had a feeling this was going to get canceled, but I still had to drive home after this. So I was like, dude, I can't get too drunk. If I pace myself and go take a nap, I'll wake up bone sober, and if it gets canceled, I don't know, dude, I'll sleep in my car or some shit. That'll suck, but I'm not sleeping at the terminal. Fuck off. So I'm sitting at the bar chilling out, and I leave the bar and blow some more time. I kind of do this for the rest of my time before we board. I kind of go in and out of the bar, getting a few drinks, leaving to chill out, and before we were finally coming up to my supposed boarding time, I took a nap for probably like an hour and a half at the gate. I just slumped. I was exhausted at this point. I was counting on sleeping on my flight, so I didn't really sleep much the night before. I was getting shit done to prepare for being gone for the weekend. So I'm sitting at the gate, and finally, I wake up, luckily, like 5 minutes before boarding. It was like I knew deep down. I was like, all right, it's time to get up, snap the fuck out of it. So I wake up, and I'm feeling fine. I'm not really drunk at this point, which I was a little disappointed with, but it ended up saving my ass later. We'll talk about that. But I was a little disappointed because I get very anxious when I fly, and I gotta be a little fucked up, at least a little buzz, So we finally board the plane, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, fuck yes, dude. This is it, I'm on the plane. We're not getting canceled. Let's go. And I'm getting excited, dude. I put my bag in the overhead. They close the doors, dude. They tell us all to buckle up. I'm like, this is it, boys. We're fucking going to Miami. And the captain decides, he says, you know what? Let's hop on the announcements and blue ball everyone. Let's actually just twist the tip of their cocks. That's exactly what he did. They hop on the announcement after the doors are closed and our bags are stowed and we're all buckled up. And he says, yeah, we're not fucking going to Miami tonight. He explains that it's not even because of the weather. Apparently, they had a problem at the Miami airport this day where they overbooked all their gates. So there was no gate for us to go to. Apparently, they had a bunch of planes stuck on the tarmac. I'm like, fuck off, dude. This is fuck. I just dropped. My banger just got knocked. Hold on. All right, we took care of that expeditiously. But either way, they tell us all to get the fuck off the plane and that our next flight is now 11 a.m. the following day. Now, this is a total of 16 hours of delays, mind you. Luckily, at this point, I was pretty bone sober and my head started to hurt. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to walk back out to my car and go the fuck home, which is exactly what I did. I'd been at the airport from 1 p.m. all the way till at this point, by the time I got to my car, it was like almost 11 p.m. I didn't get home until after midnight, guys. This was fucked. So I got home and I immediately knocked the fuck out. And the next day I go back to the airport. We take off on time just fine. Get there, not a ton happens in Miami, but I still really haven't talked about how I ended up in LA. You guys probably don't really understand how the fuck this went from Miami to LA. And this was not planned yet, but we're going to get to that. First off, we got to talk about what I did in Miami. So the first night I got there pretty late, not super late, but late enough in the day where I was exhausted. I didn't really want to do shit. I didn't sleep much the night before. So it was already Saturday and I was booked to leave on Tuesday. So I lost a whole day of my trip pretty much. Got to the hotel. I'm chilling with Ashley. We're hanging out. We slump, don't really do shit. Sunday comes around. that's when we start doing some shit. Now, I have got a little lunch planned with her and a lot of her friends. Not a lot. It was like probably 4 or 5 of us total. But I'm meeting some of her friends, and I'm like, yo, I'm the only man here. The ladies are critical. I gotta get drunk. I gotta loosen up. It's my answer to everything. Maybe I am an alcoholic. I don't know. But either way, I gotta loosen up, dude. It's time, you know? So we go out to this lunch, and mind you, I've got a dinner scheduled the same night with my class partner, my buddy who I was supposed to meet up with down here. And I'm telling myself in my head the whole time, like, yo, I'm not gonna get too wasted. I'm not gonna get too wasted. We're good. And I drank a good bit at this lunch, but I didn't get too drunk. Right? Ashley, on the other hand, got absolutely blackout fucking wasted. Blasted out of her mind. We get back. I'm the driver because she's so drunk she can't even think. So I'm like, yo, I'm not really very drunk. I'll drive us back. Like, I'm probably the most coherent person here right now, honestly. I think I got outdrank by, like, most of the girls, you know? But whatever, meeting her friends went well. You know, hey, we got to be the gentleman. You know, we covered the tab. You know, hey, I think that earned me some points, hopefully. I'm not doing that every fucking time, but hey, that earned me some points, hopefully. But either way, you know, we go back to the hotel. And Ashley's getting progressively more drunk as we drive back to the hotel. By the time we get back there, she's like passed out in the bed. And I realize that I can't find her fucking car keys. I gave them back to her after we got out of the car and we walked back to the hotel room, and I don't know where the fuck she put them. I had about an hour and a half downtime before I had to get out of there and drive to this dinner. So I'm looking all over the place. I'm like, yo, where the fuck are the keys? Like, where's the keys? What the fuck? You know, like I cannot find the car keys. So I'm trying to wake her up and ask. I'm like, yo, like, I know you're fucked up, but where are the car keys? She's completely incoherent at first until finally I wake her up and I ask her where the car keys are, and she opens her eyes and she says to me the stupidest shit I've ever heard. I asked where she put her car keys and she said August 20th. I said, what? She said August 20th. I said, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? She kept repeating it. I'm like, okay, dude. I'm not going to find the car keys from you. You're not any help to me right now. So I'm looking all around and I start going through her purse. And luckily I found them in her purse. I don't know why the fuck I didn't think to do that sooner, but I found them. So I get out and I skedaddle and I go to my dinner, and all was well. Not super eventful, right? We smoked a joint before dinner, talked about, the glass line. Hey, get ready for the Goblin glass. And that's all that really happened, right? Pretty non-eventful day. The following day, I got back that night after dinner and just knocked out. Ashley was still asleep, but the following day, things got a little more eventful. I convinced Ashley to try RSO, and she's seen how much RSO I consume. You guys have seen how much RSO I consume. And she opted to eat a whole gram for her first time. I'm not going to lie. I was so proud. I was so proud. I said, you know what? You're making me so fucking proud right now. I was just smiling ear to ear. First time she wanted to do a gram. I was a happy man. I was like, wow, I'm really rubbing off on this woman. So we go to the dispensary. She's got a medical card. And we grab ourselves some RSO. We head back to the hotel and we're sitting there and we're trying to figure out how to consume it. We didn't really have any capsules and we were feeling too lazy to go get any, but we had some M&Ms. So I'm like, yo, just pop these shits on some M&Ms, swallow them like a pill, don't chew, and you'll be fine. Whatever you do, don't chew it. You're not going to want the fucking taste in your mouth. So that's what we did. We pumped this RSO out onto a bunch of M&Ms, and she just popped them like some pills. And lo and behold, before we knew it, she had the whole gram down the hatch. Now, immediately, I was like, yo, let's go do some shit today. We went to Dave & Buster's and we went to a movie. We went and saw the new Spider-Man, which I'd never seen yet. And she was fucking baked. Now, I'll admit, she was not as high as I thought she was going to be. Maybe I've ruined her tolerance. Maybe that's one of the negative effects of being around me. I'll just destroy your tolerance. But she didn't get nearly as high as I thought she was going to. She took that shit like a trooper. Color me impressed. When we first got together, she'd done acid like one time and used to get high very easily. Now, she's chugging this shit. I'm very proud. But either way, we went to Dave & Buster's and she was pretty stoned, and not quite as stoned like I mentioned as I thought she was going to be. So we went to the movie next and it was pretty late at this point, and once again nothing super crazy happened. Now things got eventful the following day. I was supposed to fly home at this point. It was Tuesday, but I didn't really want to go home. I didn't have a ton of weed left at home, and I just felt this urge inside of me to go to LA. Ashley couldn't go with me. She had school, so I was like, you know what? I'm booking one night in LA. I hit up Yola and I'm like, yo, listen, dude, I'm fucking going to LA. What are you doing tonight? Let's link. He's like, dude, my friend Jay is flying out of Miami to LA like today as well. Maybe you guys will be on the same flight. No, I laughed it off. I'm like, whatever. And I go to the airport, right? Lo and behold, Yola's buddy and also my friend Jay is on the same flight as me. He was down in Miami to breed his dog, right? He had a Frenchie with him. And we're on the same flight, coincidentally. So we're like, yo, when we land, let's fucking smoke. I hop on this flight. It's like a 5.5, 6 hour flight. We get over to LA, hop off the plane, and we cop an Uber and ride back to the hotel I had booked. Immediately, we're on the hunt for some weed. We get to the hotel, and I'm looking everywhere, dude. He links me a couple websites to check out. He's like, yeah, these are some good delivery services. We're looking at Google Maps in the area, and we hit up one delivery service, but by the time we got a hold of them, they'd already closed deliveries for the day. Because by the time we got to the hotel, it was already like 7 p.m. So we opted to just go to a dispensary. We Ubered over to this dispensary that was a couple blocks away from us. We were in like the Burbank area, and this was over in Hollywood. And we Ubered over there, and we hit this dispensary, and I got a pretty good amount of shit. I got like about an ounce of flowers, so we were chilling. Now, I originally only had one night booked in LA, but because we got in so late, my flight that day out of Miami got delayed by 2 hours too. So I was supposed to get in at like 2 p.m. I got in at like 4:30 anyways. Didn't get to the hotel until like 6 or 7 p.m. because of LA traffic. But we Uber over to this dispensary, grab our weed, and we go back, and we opt to go over to Yola's house. Now, for those of you guys who watch Yola's channel, you guys probably saw me on his live stream the other day, but we went over to Yola's house and we were smoking the fuck up. He had some crazy shit, some of the most beautiful Gary Payton I'd ever seen in my life that he got from Hash House. I'm like, holy fuck. He held it up to me for me to smell, and I get a whiff of this shit, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, this is insanity, right? So we're taking some fat dabs of this shit. I get super baked out of my mind. Yola is literally, he's so baked, he's like sweating, dude. He took this fat ass dab. He's got a big sweat going. I got dab sweats going. We're all fucking baked out of our minds. And I'm getting ripped, right? It's me, Jay, Yola, an editor that he had, Rosie was there. We were all chilling out, getting fucking stoned, streaming a little bit. It was a hoot, right? It was a hoot. So after that, I dip out of there that night, and I decide, you know what? I'm staying in LA a little longer. I'm going to stay a little longer, and I'm going to get some more weed. So I book another night at my hotel. I rebook my flight to be the following day. So instead of Wednesday, I flew out on Thursday now. And I'm all set. I go to bed and I hit up Eric. You guys probably know him on YouTube as Eric Khan. Everyone had been telling me to link up with him again, and of course, you know, I had to hit him up. So I hit him up, and I was already planning to go to dinner that night with my buddy who owns the Cubist, the grinder company. For those of you guys who remember the Goblin grinders that I dropped, we collaborated on those. He's a good buddy of mine. I hit him up, and I was like, yo, let's go to dinner tonight. So I already had dinner plans, and I hit up Eric as well. He finally hit me back a few hours later, right as I was getting picked up to go to dinner. So we called him and we were like, yo, you want to slide with us to dinner? We hit a dispensary, my buddy Attila and I, the owner of Cubist, before we went over to pick up Eric, and we grabbed a good amount of bud. He took me to this really nice dispensary called Apothecary, and we grabbed some gas. I grabbed some Canatique, I grabbed some Backpack Boys, I grabbed a bunch of 710 Labs hash rosin, tons of shit, dude, some absolute fuego. And we headed over to Eric's house for a nice sesh. Now, I got so stoned this night that I started seeing double. I was literally falling asleep sitting upright, but we'll get to that. We get over to Eric's house, and I'd never met Eric's dog before. He has a little dog named Kento. This dog's a fucking menace, dude. Very cute. You know, like, he's friendly, don't get me wrong. You can pet him and everything. But an absolute menace. We're sitting on the couch, you know, bumping some music, taking some dabs, chatting it up. and his dog will not stop biting me. Not like hard, like it's not like it hurts or anything, but the dude just puts his mouth on your arm and like won't move it. And he won't stop until you scratch his back. So like I'm sitting there and I get up to take a dab and I'm standing in front of the rig. They're not taking a dab. At this point we weren't taking dabs yet. At this point we were smoking a bowl. Pardon me. We got to the dabs later. But I stood up to take a bowl and I get bit in the ass by his dog. Dude, Kento's chewing on my ass, bro. And I turn around and I'm like, yo, this dog's going crazy, bro. We can't get him to stop, dude. He's biting Eric. He's biting me. He's biting Attila. We're all getting chewed on by this guy, right? And I'm like, holy fuck. He eventually started biting my feet, dude. That shit hurt. That shit tickled, too. I was like, yo, this is fucked, dude. My feet are kind of ticklish. The dog's biting them. This is crazy. But we're getting stoned out of our fucking minds. I brought through probably 5 different strains of flower and 3 or 4 different strains of concentrate. And we sampled pretty much every single thing that I brought with. So by the time we had all finished smoking, I don't know how long we'd been smoking for, but we were ripped. I mean, probably minimum an hour of just nonstop dabs on bowls, just back to back to back, just getting blasted. So we all hop in the car and we ride over to the restaurant that we had a reservation at, which was this really sick place. Oh, I don't remember what it was called. It was pretty far from where I was staying. I remember we had to drive a lot, but I don't remember the name of it. But it was like a K-barbecue place, and it was really fire. They had one of the best fried rices I'd ever had. They had these like spicy vegetables that were super good, and we're stoned out of our minds. So I'm living off this shit. Eric brought his dog Kento with, and the dog luckily was not biting us at dinner, so it was all good. I don't know, maybe the dog has like ADHD and like it gets calmed down when it's in like when more shit's going on around it, but that dog was a fucking menace when it had nothing to do. I found that hilarious. I was like, yo, this is going to be a fun one. But we brought him out to dinner. Most well-behaved dog ever, dude. Just laying there, dead silent, didn't beg for anything. Like, great. Literally, it was shocking. But either way, after that, we finish up our dinner, and we hit up Yola. I give him a call, and I'm like, yo, we're done with dinner. Like, are you trying to smoke? So us 3, me, Eric, and Attila, we all head over to Yola's house, and this is where I get absolutely stoned out of my mind. Now, I was already pretty tired. I didn't sleep a ton the night before. You know, I got good sleep, but I only slept for like 6 hours because I wanted to be up fairly early to take advantage of my last day in LA, right? My last full day, at least. So, by the time we got to Yola's house, I was exhausted. And once again, he busts out the Gary Payton from Hash House. This just absolutely insane concentrate. Knocked me the fuck out. And I'm sitting there, and we take a couple dabs, and we're all chilling out. And I was still leftover stoned from our sesh earlier, right? From before we went to dinner. So at this point, I'm going into overdrive, dude. I can smoke an infinite amount of Illinois weed, but I don't know what it is with Cali shit. That shit gets me stupid, dude. I need way less of the shit they have out there. I mean, obviously, it's because it's so much better and pure, and the terps are a huge factor, but even then, it's just like, dude, 2 dabs of some Cali shit will put me on my ass and have me drooling. 2 dabs of some shit I can get here in Illinois is just getting started for me. It's crazy. So we're taking tons of dabs. I'm busting out all sorts of shit. I got this strain, actually, I have it right in front of me right now, called Poochie Juice. It's a cross of Luma, Emerald Queen, and Punch. Absolutely fantastic. Love the Poochie Juice. So we're taking dabs of that. We're taking dabs of some of the 710. We're taking dabs of the Gary Payton. And I am so blasted that at one point, I'm sitting at Yola's table, right? We're sitting there right in front of his kitchen. And I'm seeing double. I see my Poochie Juice container on the table, but I see 2 of it, and my eye is like, oh fuck, dude, my vision is not straight, and I'm like, dude, am I about to pass the fuck out? Yola's sitting next to me, and he looks at me, and he's like, dude, are you good? Your fucking eye's going like this, dude, and he's like pointing to his eye, and I'm like, oh, dude, my eye's going lazy, and he's like, yeah, like, I just started laughing my ass off, bro. I was like, yeah, I'm good, man, I'm just fucking baked right now. I don't know if I've ever been so high that I literally went lazy-eyed in my whole life, but here we fucking were. So he's like, yo, will another dab fucking wake you up? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. So I get up and take another dab of this, and it actually did wake me up, dude. It was like doing a line. It had the reverse effect. Dabs had been slumping me this whole evening, but at this point, I'd crossed the threshold, and I was so slumped that now the dabs were waking me up. It was having the reverse effect, and this was definitely not some sativa. But either way, I take this dab, and now I'm much more awake than I was before, and we're just having a fat sesh, dude. I mean, me, Eric, Yola, Attila, Rosie, we're all getting fucking stoned, boys. Absolutely stoned to the bone. And I don't know how I managed to stay conscious this night. I was falling asleep sitting up at multiple points. Like, I don't know. I probably slept for a good 30% of the time I was at that house. I was just out fucking cold. But finally, it came time after a very, very intense smoke sesh to get out of there. We hop in Eric's car and we ride back, and he drops me off at my hotel, and I'm out sleep in the back of this fucking car, dude. I am out cold, bro. We get there, I say goodbye to the boys, and I head back to my hotel, and now it's finally time for me to head home, which I just did yesterday, actually. But I brought home quite a bit of goodies with me. I was going through TSA, and I had a little over 2 ounces of flour, probably closer to 3, and about half an ounce of hash rosin with me. And I forgot a water bottle in my bag at TSA the next day. And they opened my bag, but luckily the bottle was in the side pocket. So they only opened the side pocket where I had no weed at. They pull out the bottle, and the TSA girl was super nice. She was like, "Is there any reason you have this?" And I was like, "Oh, I totally forgot. I'm so sorry. Like, you can dump it, throw it away." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And she saw I was holding my Nintendo Switch because I had to take it out of my bag to put it through TSA. She's like, "Oh, how's the new Pokemon game? Have you played the new, like, Legends Arceus?" And I think that's the only thing that saved my fucking life that day. If I didn't have a nice distraction conversation piece with me, she could have opened the main pocket. And you can fly out of LA with an ounce, but I had far more than an ounce. So thank God they didn't open it. But I flew home all fine that day, not really much of a delay, and that's how my trip went. Hope you guys enjoyed this much longer than expected video. Drop a like if you did. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, gamers.